So I am at Crumbs Doilies, but this time I'm in the staff room because it's Friday morning. Well, it might be a different day for you watching, but for me right now, it's Friday morning, which means that Crumbs Doilies is busy. And there's no room for me out there, so I've been squirreled away in the staff room, which is small and hot, and there's no ovens, and there's nothing fun. But I've taken some fun stuff in, and I'm gonna take it back to basics, and I'm gonna show you guys how to pipe buttercream and make your cupcakes look amazing using a variety of different techniques. So here we go. Now, when you're doing decorative piping, one of the most important things you're gonna need in your kit is a nozzle. And you can have one nozzle, you can get away with that, but it's better to have lots of nozzles. And you could really go to town with this because there are literally hundreds out there and they all do different things and have different shapes coming out. So I'm gonna show you my 6 top nozzles, which is 3 basic ones, so 3 which I think every person should have in their kit, and then 3 extra ones which are really gonna jazz things up. The world of nozzles is a complex and confusing world of numbers and letters and round things and star things, and it seems like every manufacturer calls their nozzle a completely different thing. So I'm going to just show you the basic shapes and what to look out for when you're choosing your nozzles. I've got here a round nozzle, obviously, it's round. It's about a 12mm one. I've got another one here which is about 6mm. And these ones are really useful. And then you've got star nozzles. So the simplest one I've got here, this is a 7-point open star. Which will give you that really nice Mr. Whippy style icing, classic cupcake piping. Things like this one, which is what I use for rose piping. So it's got 6 points and it's slightly closed, so it will give you really nice deep grooves. This one here is like mega. So there's 10 points on that guy and it's closed. So this would be called a closed star. And then I've got a smaller one of those, so there's 8 points closed. And that will be really good for little mini rose piping things. So yeah. Usually you can find a really good selection online or at your local cake decorating shop. So have a little rummage. Right, well that's nozzles. The next thing you're going to need is a piping bag to put your nozzle in. So there's basically 2 different kinds of piping bags. One is a nylon bag, which you can use again and again and again. You'd need to buy a coupler for that, because then you'd need to put your nozzle in and make sure it stays in. Or the other kind you can buy is a disposable one, which is what I like, because that means you don't have to wash it up, which is a very annoying job. So you can just snip off your nozzle when you're finished with it and chuck it away, which is better. I'm going to be using buttercream throughout this video, and if you want to learn how to make buttercream, then click on the link now. And I'm going to show you how to prepare your piping bag. So I'm using my disposable one here. And obviously it's completely closed at the end at the moment, but I want to make my nozzle go in. So I'm going to line up my nozzle here like this and cut off as much as I think it will need. I don't want it to fall out, but I also don't want it to encroach on the pointy bits of my nozzle. So I reckon about here is fine. And then just drop your nozzle in, pointy bit first. And just make sure it's really nice and snug in there, which that one is. And then, just to avoid getting really messy, which is what I learnt this the hard way, turn your piping bag over like this. That way, you can put all your buttercream in right into the bottom of it without getting it all smearing up the sides. So I've got a bit of buttercream here. I'm going to use white. And just carefully just plop it in. So once you've got all your icing in there, you want to turn that back up the right way. So grab it all up so you can see that you've got no icing on the outside now, which is very nice. Give it a little shuffle just to get rid of any air bubbles and make sure it's all at the bottom. And then you want to squeeze it and turn it like this so that you end up with all the icing at the bottom, and that way if you loop the twisty bit over your finger, you can squeeze from the top down rather than from the middle up, which will obviously squeeze buttercream all at the other end, which is very messy. And if you don't want to waste all your cakes and all your buttercream practicing and getting that perfect swirl, then the best thing to do is to grab a sheet of greaseproof paper and pipe onto that, because that way you can scrape off all that practice stuff back into the bowl and use it again. So we're ready to go, and I'm going to show you how to do that basic swirl, classic swirl cupcake icing using an open star nozzle. So the first thing to make sure you're going to do is keep your piping bag vertical with the cupcake. Then give it a good squirt in the middle and then go around that squirt, building it up slowly until you reach the top, and then finish it off gently. For this one, use the same nozzle, do a dot in the middle, and then dot all the way around using short, sharp, concise bursts, and then do another layer and then finish it off on the top. For this classic round blob, I'm using a 12mm round nozzle. Just give it a really generous square in the middle till most of the cake is covered, and then start circling that until you reach the top and then gently pull away. For a classic rose piping, I'm using a closed star nozzle. Give it a squirt in the middle, then go around that squirt, and then go around once more, and then release the pressure and pull away gently. For this crazy guy, I'm using a 10-point closed star nozzle. Give it a really generous squirt and keep squirting as you wiggle it around until you have a really nice blob on top. For this one, I'm using an 8-point star nozzle, which is closed. It's a small one, so I can make these tiny little roses in the same movement as I did with the big rose. Just go all the way around the outside, and then in that middle bit there as well, and then one on top. For this one, I'm using a 6mm round nozzle. Just go around the outside with little blobs, pulling away as you finish. And then once you've done that circle, go around the top of that to create another layer. And then a little swirl on top. This one's just a variation on the classic swirl, but this time I'm using the same nozzle that I used for the rose piping. It just creates a more ruffly finish. There you go. 8 really simple and super fun ways to jazz up your cupcakes using piped buttercream icing. From the classic swirl, to the blob, to Grandma's swimming hat. It's dead easy. You just gotta practice. But if you do have any questions, just put them in the comments box below and I'll do my best to help you out. And if you want to see more videos like this, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link up there. And assuming I'm allowed back in the kitchen, I will be back next week with another recipe for you guys to enjoy. So I'll see you then. Bye!